Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Designing for Remote Instruction with iPad and Apple session today. With this, sessions of Create with Kasia. Thank you for coming in again. If you've joined me before, I've hosted one on photos and one on video, and this is next in our series because as we know, we don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. We don't know if we're going back to school, and if we are, this is going to be helpful no matter what, I hope. Teacher. I teach at Mariana Elementary School in Chicago. I teach STEM, kindergarten through 8th grade. I teach a variety of curriculum, not just Apple, although that's one of my favorites because it's just very engaging and students get to be very creative. And today we're going to be looking at things that might be helpful for you in the next few weeks. So here are our objectives of today's session, just so you know. We're going to be using Keynote actually to create things today. And we're going to be talking about interactive classroom apps, which some you may use already, some that might be new to you, or maybe you've heard of, but you haven't explored with. I will share a few tips and tricks. If you're using Apple devices, that will be very helpful for you and your staff and your students. And we'll talk about some implementation ideas of how you use what we're learning today in your classroom when we come back in the fall or now. So, and then we'll have time for Q&A, any questions. So we're going to get ready to start. So let's talk about the iPad. So iPad has been transforming the way we teach and that we learn. I use iPad in my classroom for a variety of reasons. However, many people think that, we can use the iPad just to use the apps that are on it, or just watch videos or play video games. And we want to change that for students. We want to make sure that they're using content that they're doing. So there's so many uses of education and beyond, and we want to make sure that in our classrooms, the students are becoming creators of content and not just the users. So that's my main kind of goal through this, that students are doing that. So before we go into our session, I'd like to find out what's your favorite app. It doesn't have to be educational app, it can be, but any of your favorite apps, if you can put that in the chat, and then I'll ask you to come off mute and share some of those. So any of your favorite apps that you like using for entertainment or for education or for whatever you want to use. And it can be on your phone or your iPad. And of course, they're doing some landscaping outside right now, right? So if you hear some noises, I'm sorry. Kay Levy, could you share could you come off mute and tell us your favorite app and maybe why you like using it?
I put Osmo, the Masterpiece app with the kids, but I also should have put the projector app. For the distance learning, it's worked as not only my like a camera to demo drawing, but it's also helped the kids when we were in class learn how to draw and really practice their hand-eye coordination. So that's the one I really like.
It's breaking up a little bit. I don't know if I can you everybody hear that? Or maybe it's just breaking up.
Hi, can everyone hear me? Are we having, I think we might be having technical difficulties.
Mia, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now, and I can see you again.
Okay.
And Katie is shaking her head yes as well.
I can hear you.
Thank you, everyone.
Maria, could you share what you wrote? Could you come off mute? Maria, are you there?
Yes.
So Maria said, I don't know, I hope you guys can hear me. But Maria said, YouTube, because I can find many videos to teach my students. I think that is a very useful app, not just for entertainment, but definitely for teaching students. Can you guys hear me? Can somebody say in the chat, can you hear me? Okay, yes, you can. Okay, sorry, because maybe I couldn't hear anybody. So these are some great ideas, some great apps. And as you may guess, my favorite app that we're going to talk about today is Keynote. Now, this is one of my favorite apps, but I use Keynote almost every day. And many of you may think that, you know, Keynote is just an app to create a presentation or a workshop online like I'm doing right now, which it is, but to the extent that it can be used is like infinite. There's so many different uses of Keynote. So one of the things my students used Keynote for this last year, they use it to create app prototypes actually, for apps that they were creating. They were given like a challenge that they had to help society or their community or school, and they created apps. They didn't actually code the apps, but they created prototypes for them using Keynote. And they even had buttons that would work. And when you press, for example, like this Keynote that you can see right now, it would take them to a different slide, which will be the appropriate window that would happen in an actual app. I often use it to create GIFs or GIFs, even edit photos, do photo collages, and I even used it to plan my sitting chart at my wedding a few years ago. So there's so many different uses for it. So today, I'm going to do actually a live demo of something that you can do with your students, an example of something you can do with your students in the fall. So I'm going to go to my iPad right now. And before I begin, I'm going to show you a really cool feature. And you should be able to see my iPad right now. Now you may notice I have this little pointer on my iPad. Do you notice that? So I use this a lot with my students when I have my iPad connected to my Apple TV and I need to point to something so I don't have to take this giant handle with the little hand and point to things. And I'm going to show you how to do that and how to open that on your iPad right now. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to settings. And you can do it on your iPad as I'm doing it to remember to. And then I'm going to go to all the way down to accessibility. And then I will go to touch and assistive touch. And it has to be on in order to see that. So assistive touch, it needs to be selected. That's how you get that pointer. Now, that pointer is used for a lot of different reasons. You can open it and have it go, it's for accessibility, so you can have it go to different things on your iPad. However, I use it basically as a pointer in my classroom. So I have that for you guys as a first tip today. Now, I am going to go and open Keynote. And you'll be able to see, or if you have any questions as we're doing this, please feel free to put in chat and I'm going to try to answer them. I also have this demo recorded already, so that you guys will be able to access that as well if you need to see how I'm doing what I'm doing. So today, I'm going to start a new presentation. I'm going to click on plus on the top right side. And I'm going just to do basic white. Now, what am I going to be creating today? I'm actually going to create an assignment that may be helpful for a lot of your students in the fall, like creating a book report, or creating a science experiment, or showing how they solve the word problem. So today, I'm going to show you how they can create a book report instead of, just filling out the old worksheet and putting it what they read, but actually creating one themselves and making it, cool and interactive and with different features that a normal piece of paper would not be able to have. So I started off with a blank presentation. Now what I'm going to do first is I am going to go into the size and make sure it's the size that I want. So I can actually change however the size and the document setup is. So I'm going to go to the 3 dots on top. That's our menu pretty much. And I will go to document setup. And here you can pick your themes again, but when I go to slide size, I can decide how my slide is going to look like. So I can make it into a square, I can make it into a 4x3, I can customize it. So actually when I was talking about the app prototyping that we did with my students, I made the screen the same size like an iPhone or an iPad would have. So when we did this, they actually put in custom numbers for how big the size was. So you can play around and make this as big or as small as you want it to be. But for today, we're gonna keep it 4x3. Okay, and then I'm gonna press done. So now that I have the size set up and how I want it, I am going to delete everything that's there. I just want a blank canvas, a blank piece of paper. So how do I delete what's already there? If I tap with my finger, and a box will pop up with options. I'm going to click delete, press delete. So I'm going to delete all of them. And you can be doing this right now on your iPad with me. If I'm talking too fast or something, just stop me and I'll make sure to go over it again. But I'm going to try to go at a pace that we can all collaborate and do this time. And then what am I going to do first? So first, I kind of want to set this page up so it kind of looks like a book report. So I'm going to actually do like 4 boxes, and then I'm going to do a circle in the middle. But you can design it however you want it to be. So I'm going to start with what I have in my head. So I'm going to go to plus sign on top. And then there's different things you can add into your presentation or to your Keynote. So I'm going to actually not go to any of these. Instead, I'm going to go to the shapes that I can see. And I am going to scroll through to basic shapes. And I'm going to pick a circle. I'm going to tap on the circle. Now I have a black circle right in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little bigger. Now, notice the yellow lines. Those actually show you exactly where the middle of the page is. So when both of them are on, it shows you exact center. So now I have this circle in the center. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Okay. And then I don't want it to be black. So I'm going to go back on top, and where the paintbrush is where we can style what this looks like. I'm going to go to the paintbrush. And I'm going to go over to style. Hi, doggy. And I'm actually going to have it not filled black. I'm just going to have no fill on it. So no fill. That just means it's going to be empty inside. And then I'm going to go back to style. And I'm going to change, and I'm going to add a border around it so that I can see that circle. So I'm going to select it. And here it gives you options to pick what style of border you want. I am going to just make it a little wider so that I can see the circle. See how wide you can go? I'm just going to make it, I think, 5 so that I can still see it well. Okay, so here is my circle I have in the middle. Now I'm going to use that circle actually to have a picture of a book that I'm doing on, the report on. So that's why I have that circle there. Now let me make sure that it's centered. Okay, now it's centered again. Okay, that was pretty easy, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and create the other 4 boxes where I'm going to have some text about the book that I read. So again, I'm going to go to plus on top, and I'm going to add some lines. Now, can we guess where the lines are? Right there where there's a line. So I'm going to put a line on top and on the bottom and then on the sides. I'm going to hold it, drag it on top. Now, right now it's uneven. It's not vertical like I want it. So I'm going to hold either one of the blue ends and points, and I'm just going to pull it where I want it. And notice how the yellow line shows you again where exact center is. So I'm going to keep it there. Now, right now it's kind of in the box. Oops. So I'm going to use my 2 fingers to zoom in and actually tap on it again and shorten a little bit. Okay, just like that. Now that line is thinner than the circle, so I can edit it. I can tap on it again, go back on top where the paintbrush is. Remember, that's where all of our styles are. Go in style, and in the width of the line, I can pick how wide this line is gonna get. So the other one I think was 5 points. So I'm gonna make this one also 5 points. Now it shows you in style, you can make this whatever style you want it to be. I'm just gonna keep it a regular line. But as you can see, there's so many different options. So now I need the line on the bottom and on the side. Now, instead of going to plus and creating another line, I have an easier way. You can just copy and paste the one you already made. So how do I do that? I'm gonna tap on the line and an option comes up to cut, copy, delete, comment. I'm gonna copy it. And I'm gonna tap anywhere on the white again. And I'm gonna paste it. And now I'm gonna drag that line and put it in the bottom. Okay. So I think that's faster than creating another line and changing how wide it is. Now I need 2 lines on each side of the paper. So I'm going to actually I don't have to copy it again because I already copied it once. I can just paste it again. So I'm going to tap anywhere on white and paste it. And you see the line. Now it is vertical, so I'm going to change it into horizontal. So how do I do it? I just pull one of the blue endpoints. And I'm going to see, there's the yellow line, that's the center. And it's too big. I'm going to zoom in a little bit with 2 fingers, zoom out. Perfect. And it can actually stick out on the side a little bit, that doesn't matter. And then I'm going to copy this one. So tap on it, copy, and tap anywhere else on white and paste it. Make sure the yellow line is on. And there we go. I have my kind of a, setup for how I'm going to have my book report today. So now the first thing I'm going to do is add titles to each of the boxes. So I'm going to add titles so I know what goes in each box. So first thing I'm going to add is book and title of the story or the book review that they're doing it on. So I'm going to go to plus. That's where we add anything. And before we were adding shapes, now we're going to add text. So it's right here, text. I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to drag it. Now, if it's small, again, you can use 2 fingers to kind of zoom it in. And I'm going to write book title and author. And I don't like how small it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna have it selected. So just tapped on it. And then I'm gonna go to the paintbrush again. And not in style, but now we're gonna go to text because we are dealing with text. And I'm going to change the font actually to, I don't know how you, Futura. I like that font, I think. So I'm gonna keep that one, but you can pick whatever you want. And I'm gonna make it bolder, and then I'm gonna pick text color as black. So now it's a little bigger, maybe make it 22. And is there a way I can move around so it's all in one line? Yes, I can. So I'm gonna pull on one of the blue dots, and now I have one line, what I want it to do. So now all I'm gonna do is copy this and paste it and just change different text. So I could go to plus and add text, but I'm just gonna copy and paste this into all 4 boxes and just change the text. So I'm gonna go ahead and just copy and paste it. And I'm gonna write in here fiction or nonfiction. Now remember, this can be used for anything, a book report, a science experiment, math problem, I mean, anything. And the students are now becoming the creators of their work. They're not just filling something in that you gave them, they're actually making it. And I will also show you a little bit later how you can record yourself doing this and post it, and then students can do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and paste it again, and now I'm going to put on the bottom, draw your favorite part of the book. And now that one's kind of big, so I'm gonna pull on the blue and have it in the middle. I'm gonna paste another one to the right. And this one I'm gonna write, who would you recommend this book to and why? And last one, paste, what is this book about? Now bear with me, I know this is taking some time to type and paste and copy, but you're gonna see a few little tricks in a minute that will make this all worth it. So the first thing that I would like to do is, now that I have titles for each box, I'm going to add a book. I'm going to add a book type. Actually, I'm going to change the background of this sheet so it's not white. So how do I do that? When I have the style selected, so nothing can be selected when I click on style to change the background. So click anywhere on the white, and then if you go to the paintbrush, I'm going to make the background, and I'm going to go to color, make it maybe this light blue. You can pick whatever color you want for your background. And now this makes it look like, okay, this is a little bit more interesting in a white sheet of paper. I'm going to go back. Okay. And I am actually going to add an image here to make it pop a little bit more. So how do I do that? I'm going to go to plus, and you see where it says objects, or not objects, sorry, where it says, well, different things that you can add. I'm going to click on the magnifying glass, and I'm going to look for a picture of a book. So I'm going to click on book. Now these are all the different shapes that Apple already has installed in Keynote that you can add on. If you typed in cat, look how many different types of cats are coming up, or house. There's so many different things on here that you can add shapes and change how they look like. I'm just going to put book, and I'm going to use this book, and I'm going to put it right here. And I am going to change the color of that book. So I'm going to go to Style on top and go to Style, and then I'm going to fill it white. But I'm also going to make it a little see-through. So do you see where opacity is? So that wherever I type the book title over it, it's not going to be overpowering. Okay. So right now, the book is see-through and it's right there. Now there's one more thing I'm going to show you. Right now it's kind of on top of everything else. So I'm actually going to send it to back so that it's behind where it says book title and author. So how do I do that? And go to the Style. And then in the Arrange, so Style, Text, and Arrange. We haven't used this yet. So I'm going to actually move it to the back. So right now, notice how it's like, now it's above, if you look closely, now it's above the letters, and now it's behind the letters. So if you want to like stack a few things on the like images on top of each other, that's how you can make them appear in front. And a lot of kids actually have that question, like, why is this behind? How do I fix it? So it's under Paintbrush and then Arrange. All right, now we should start doing our book report already. So I am going to put the book title. So my book title, how do I do it? Or I'm going to add text. Or you know what? I can actually just copy and paste what I have here. Copy and paste. And today's book report is going to be on one of my favorite books I taught when I used to teach 5th grade, The Giver. You guys can pick whatever book you want. And then the author. Okay. And how do I make this text stand out a little bit? So right now it's kind of boring. It's just the same like all the other things. So if I go to the paintbrush and I go to text, actually if I go to style, I can add a little shadow to it. And then if I go to text, I can make it a little bigger. So now it's standing out. If I do it 36, it's standing out. And you can see the title of it. Okay. All right. Now, is it fiction or nonfiction? So I'm gonna copy that. It is fiction. Okay. Perfect. Now, in the middle, we're going to add a picture of the cover of the book. Now, how do we do it? Now, normally you would think, okay, I have to go online, I have to like download a picture, save it, then upload it. There's a much faster way to do it. So I'm going to show you how to do split screen on the iPad right now. Now, I don't know if any of you have used that before, but it's very easy and super friendly when you're using Keynote, like you're working on something, but you need to like Google something else. So all I need to do is take my finger and I'm going to swipe up a little bit where I see the different apps. Now, I see Safari on the bottom left. So all I'm going to do, and it takes a little practice, maybe a few times that you practice doing this, I'm going to hold the app and drag it with my finger. I'm not going to press anything, I'm just dragging it all the way to the right or to the left until this window pops up. And now I have 2 windows. Okay? So if you want it to disappear, I'm going to pull my finger back to the app. But let me do it one more time because it does take practice. It took practice for me too. So I'm going to, and sometimes you might close your app and that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, hold it and drag it and open it. And you can see I have 2 Safari tabs open. I'm just going to click on any of them. And I actually did this right before we started our session, but on the top, I can normally just Google anything I want. And then I'm going to go to images. You can still do the same thing. You can zoom in and zoom out. And I find the book that I want. This is the book I'm going to use. So here's what I can do in order to copy that book image. Now, you should make sure that you're using a picture that you can, use, so safe images. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to quickly show you how to copy and paste because we know our students are going to do this too. So all I need to do is I'm holding with my finger, I'm pressing on the third book and I'm holding it. And you see how it got selected? I'm still holding with my finger and I'm gonna, oops, too long. I'm gonna hold with my finger and I'm gonna drag it to Keynote. And I'm gonna put it in Keynote. Ta-da, that's all you need to do to copy and paste an image. I'll do it one more time. So I'm gonna hold it and drag it into Keynote. Pretty simple, right? So now I'm going to close a split view. All I need to do is pull with my finger on that slider and move it to the right. And now I have my images. Oops. What do we do here? There we go. So I'm going to take my book image and I'm going to use the blue dots and I'm going to put it wherever in the middle I want it to be. Okay. Pretty simple. Now, if I double tap on it, I can pick if I just want to use a part of it. But in this case, I want to use the whole thing. So I'm going to keep it like that. Okay. Any questions so far? No? We're good? Okay. So next, I'm going to write, what is this book about? And I'm going to show you another cool feature that we can use. And
Hey everyone, this is Mia. Just checking in to see if I'm the only one having difficulty hearing Kasia right now, or if I'm interrupting the lesson.
Mia, I think she dropped, but I think she might be right back on.
Yeah, I
Kasia.
can't hear her either.
Okay. Yeah, I think she just joined. I see her name back.
you guys hear me? Sorry, I think something happened.
We can now.
Yes. All right. Kasia, I think you accidentally muted yourself, and I can't.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, we can hear you again.
I think I'm back on. I'm so sorry. Right? Am I back on? Can you guys hear me?
You are, no, sounds good, Kasia. We can hear you and we can see your screen.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. All right, let me go back to where we were. Okay. So, actually, I'm gonna just copy this, copy and paste. And I'm going to actually speak about what this text is about. So on the bottom, you can see this little microphone. If I press on it, it's gonna start recording and dictating what I'm going to say. So right now I'm gonna press it. It's a story about society with citizens who have no memories of the past, comma, except for one individual called the receiver of memory, period. And I tap back on the keyboard and you can see the text appeared, and it's actually a perfect translation. Now I had to speak a little bit slower, but when you speak faster, most of the time it picks it up too. And you can see it's a little big, so I'm gonna go to the style paintbrush. And I'm gonna make it a little smaller, 24, I think that fits. Okay, so go ahead, you can try that right now as you're doing your book report with the other two, or with the other question, who would you recommend this book to and why? I'm gonna do the same thing, paste the text or add text, whichever one you prefer. I'm going to dictate again. Yes, comma, I would recommend this book to anyone who likes science fiction, period. The book keeps you on the edge and each chapter captivates you, period. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little. Okay, so there it is. Now I'm gonna add actually how to add drawing into here, because I'm asking them to draw a further part of the book. Now this is something a kindergartner can do. You don't have to have as much text for them. So if you're teaching younger students, you can have them do that. So if I am in plus, I'm going to add a drawing. Now the drawing is not going to be under shapes. It's actually going to be under where you see those two pictures, and it's going to say drawing. Now, before I do the drawing, myself, I'm not the best artist, so I'm actually going to find a shape and I'm going to trace over it. You can just click drawing and start drawing, and that's totally fine. But I'm actually going to add a shape and draw over it so that I can have something to help me. So I'm going to find a shape, and in the book, I love the part where Jonas gets to start seeing color. So I'm going to find the apple, because that's what he notices with, that it was black and white, and now it's going to be red. And I'm going to make this apple, let me make this style white. Okay. And I'm going to draw over it. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And now that I have it front and center, I'm going to go to plus now. And are going to pop up with all the different things that I can do. So I am going to use the crayon, and I'm going to change the opacity a little bit, maybe so it's not as thick, or not as dark. And I'm going to pick gray, and I'm going to color this part of the apple gray, and then part of the leaf gray, and then part of the stem. And then the rest of the apple, I'm going to pick red. This kind of looks more like brown. Let me do red. Oh, I'm going to do red apple. I'm going to do green leaf and brown stem. Okay. And then I'm going to press done. And now I have my picture, and I don't want that white apple in the background anymore. So I'm going to tap on it and just delete it. So now I have my picture. Okay. You can draw anything. You can use any of those tools. Now I can make it smaller, I can bigger, I can add other drawings, whatever I want to do. So after I have this apple, I'm actually going to add one more thing into my my book report. I'm going to add stars for reviews. So I'm just going to go to plus, shapes. I'm going to look up star, and oops, I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to change the color of it. So, well, that's kind of hard to see. And I'm going to make 5 stars. So I'm just going to copy it and then paste 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you may be wondering, why are we doing this? Like, how can I share this with my how can I do this anywhere? So actually, like I mentioned before we started, there's 2 apps that, well, one app that we all know that we use in CPS is Google Classroom in Chicago. And you can actually share this into your Google Classroom, and I will show you right now how. And also Seesaw. Now I'm looking at the time, and I don't know if we're going to have time to save it into our Seesaw. but because of all my technical difficulties, I apologize. But I'm going to show you how to share this and be able to post it into somewhere. So if I want to post it and share, I will go to the menu, and the menu is, remember, the circle with the 3 dots. I'm going to tap on it, and normally you share things like airdrop it or email it to somebody, but because this is a Keynote file and we're trying to send it onto Google, and Google doesn't really take Keynote or Seesaw, we're actually going to export it as a PDF file. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 3 dots again, and I'm going to click on export. And there's different, you can export as a PDF, PowerPoint, GIF, movie, images. So I'm going to actually do a PDF. So I'm going to click on PDF. It's going to ask me what layout I want. This is perfect. And I'm going to click export. And now it's asking me where to export it. Now, you may not see Google Classroom on here or Seesaw if you don't have them on your you have apps. All you need to do is go where it says more, and you can pick any of the apps and add them into that selection. So I am going to pick copy to Seesaw, and I had my Seesaw already logged in, so I'm just gonna add it as a sample student, and you're going to be able to see that now it's in my Seesaw and it's uploaded as a PDF. So that's one thing. I use Seesaw with kindergarten through 5th grade. I can do a whole workshop on Seesaw because there's so many great features of it. But it is a great sharing and like a digital portfolio app. If you're using Google Classroom, you can do the exact same thing. So I had it exported as a PDF, and then I would click on my classroom. PDF, export, and I can add it to, oops, no, I clicked on export PDF to classroom, and it should pop up with your classrooms to share. For some reason, my CPS1 is like not working right now in here, but it does, trust me, it does. So you just pick which class you want to share it to, and it uploads it to that class. So it works that way too. If you can upload it as an image as well, that works too. So that concludes my little or long demo of how to create like a document and use all these features that are available, like dictation, drag and drop, split screen, drawing, including shapes, putting things in the background, and Keynote. As you can see, this doesn't look like a Keynote presentation or a workshop. This looks like a document that a student could create in the classroom. So with that, do we have any questions with what I just went over? Oh, somebody asked her, and I see Jordan answered. Yes, you can dictate book title and author sections. You can do that. I just showed it for longer text just to show you that it works for longer text. Sometimes you might have an issue and it doesn't like translate exactly the same, so you might have to go back and fix it. But this is a very useful tip for diverse learners or younger students that have a hard time typing. So I'm going to go back to my Keynote. So we talked about Seesaw, we talked about Google Classroom, and how the Keynote can go into both of these. And I would like to show you a tip or a trick in case you want to record yourself doing this type of a tutorial or any type of tutorial on the iPad for your student. So all you need is an iPad, which I had, and I have my iPad actually connected to my computer, to my MacBook. And I have it connected just through any of the USB ports that come into my MacBook. So as you can see, I have this connected into my laptop. And now how do I get my iPad to show on my screen? So, and sharing with my students, maybe during a online virtual learning live class that I want to show them how to do this. So you have to have QuickTime opened on and QuickTime is a free app that's already on your Mac. Now I had it open because I was showing you. So all I need to do is when a QuickTime opens, all I need to do is click on File, New Movie Recording. And if you want to share live with your students, when you first open, oops, it's not going to be Apple TV. When you first open, it's just going to have you on it, right? Because you QuickTime, you can record yourself talking. Oh, this is crazy. This is like Inception. I'm in two places. But when you click on the little arrow next to the record button, it shows you the different things that you click on. See but also your other stuff set up. So I actually use desktop, and you've been seeing me go between. So on the top of your keyboard, if you're using a Mac, right next to the brightness buttons, you have the little boxes. And right next to the brighter box, I have the QuickTime opened in desktop 2 and my Keynote desktop 1, and then I have another desktop. All you need to do to add more desktop, like more workshop, pretty much more desktop, you just click on the plus button. So that's how you open more of them. So I have multiple set up, and I have like workshop in one, another screen, another one, so that I don't get confused with so many apps open on the bottom. So I just use different screens. So that would be my little tip. Now, if you just want to record yourself talking to your students, your iPad, you can do it in QuickTime as well. All you need to do is do File, New Recording like we did, and you can just have yourself talking. If you want to what kind of part of the screen do you want to record, and then all you do is just record it. So it's very simple tips that you can record yourself doing tutorials or your classes that you did, or something like a quick tip for kids, or maybe problem of the day that you can pre-record for your students. So these are a few of my tips. Any questions? I know I kind of went through that a little faster, but I see Jordan put few links in here that are really helpful to be able to like connect QuickTime into your iPad and laptop. If you don't have a MacBook and you just want to record what you're doing on your iPad or your iPhone even, if you have QuickTime open, let me do this quickly. New recording, I'll show you. If you want to record your iPad, how you're doing something on your iPad, should open, there we go. If you pull from the top right corner of your iPad, it shows you like the different controls. Right now, because I'm connected to my MacBook, it won't let me, but if you press this record button right here, you can screen record your iPad, your iPhone, and then just make sure that you hold it and tap it. Right, it doesn't work because I'm connected, but hold it and tap it, because sometimes the microphone is off. So you might have to make sure that your microphone is on so that it's recording what you're saying. So if I were to hold this button, it would give me options to turn on microphone or have it off. Okay, so that's one more tip. And with that, I would like you to tell me, maybe write in a chat or just share, there's not that many of us here. Tell me what's one thing you will take back to your classroom and try, whether it's virtual learning or in-person learning, whatever it is, or maybe with your staff. It doesn't have to be like I showed you how to record things, so it doesn't have to be with your students, but it can also be with your staff. Anything about Keynote, so you can write it in chat and we have a quick discussion about that. Thanks, Jordan, for the links. And like I said, I will have Mia will have access to the demo I did today. So if you need to see it again or any of the parts, even though this meeting is recorded, I also recorded just the demo of this so that you can see and go back and see how to do all those features. Because it does take time to practice, like split screen and dragging and dropping, like it's a lot of different tools. Mia, do you want to share what you wrote?
Yeah, so I just called out that, leveraging the share screen and split screen from the iPad, and definitely the dictation feature that I didn't realize that was available. And, just thinking about workshops, meetings, and also just another means of communicating, which is really cool. Katie and Jordan also said something. I'm gonna tap Katie to share out next. That's cool.
I was going to just Keynote in general. A lot of the times we use a Google Drawing within a Google Doc, and that kind of takes out that whole two-part process, so that's nice. And then definitely the split screen, because we use iPads a lot to present as well.
Yeah, I think Keynote is great to like just create things like, yes, Google Docs, like you said, and Google Drawing, but those are two different, like there's all those features are in here, and it takes time to utilize them and figure out how to play with them, but you can create so many things with this. You can even just do a drawing on the screen. So if I add my sheet just blank and I'm a kindergarten teacher, I can have them kids add drawing and just draw on it and add it to Seesaw or to Google Classroom. Jordan?
Hi, I love that the way your brain kind of processed that graphic organizer to be able to deliver something that I think is so, a book report is so common at like really any grade level, and really can be that type of graphic organizer you put together can be applicable with any content. So I just like the idea of the way you have it laid out, and I really appreciate you, walking us through that.
Thank you. And yes, it is a graphic organizer, but imagine if a student is actually creating their own graphic organizer. I think that takes that part of just filling it in to creating something.
Exactly, it like flips it, right?
Mm-hmm. Taria?
Yes. So I kind of used Keynote before, but it's been a while. But I like how Jordan said how you made it into that graphic organizer, because I teach APCSP, and I have an activity where kids have to like write different things, and that can use them to help organize their ideas. So I like that. So I did it where they did like a prototype of app, but it's been a while. So I like how you reviewed some of the features. I'm like, oh, I haven't done this in a while. So it's a good thing. So thank you.
You're welcome. And a lot of times Keynote is, like you're saying, writing down ideas. A lot of people use Keynote for sketchnoting. Have you heard of sketchnoting? It's pretty much where you draw or write different ideas as you're listening to somebody talk, like taking notes. So if you just click on add drawing, you can just keep on drawing and like writing. It helps if you have like a stylus. You can buy one for like a few dollars on Amazon, or if you have an Apple Pencil, but that's obviously a little bit more pricey, but you can use, or your finger, which what I was using. But sketchnoting is popular too with Keynote.
And then I realized from this workshop that I need to upgrade my iPad because it's a little bit old, but that's okay with this.
Yeah. Maria? Would you like to share with us? maybe not. Anybody else has anything else they would like to share? I hope that you can take at least, one thing from here, because there is a lot of information to understand. Just like one thing that you can take and try with your students or with yourself, and practice before, fall teaching starts again. And if you have any questions, you can always message me, or you can post actually your work that you're doing, if you are on any social media. You can post it to Everyone Can Create, or CPS Creates with that hashtag. I use Twitter solely for educational purposes, so I post my students' work or my work, whatever we're doing. And then, like I said, you can email me if you have any questions ever, tips, or anything that you need. I'll be glad to help you with that. And I really appreciate you bearing with me during the technical problems. I'm gonna make sure that my internet next time is like 100 times better. I'm so sorry. So thank you again. And I hope next week we have a few sessions on drawing, on Swift Playgrounds, and on music with Everyone Can Create. So if you have time, at 2 o'clock next week, we have a few sessions coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I'm just gonna hop in before everyone signs off and say thank you, Kasia. Technical difficulties, as we've all experienced, are gonna happen as we all learn and adjust to remote instruction. And from my opinion and perspective, you did. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a puppy. And like that, and like remote instruction and learning, we are combining the intersection of our home with our work. So appreciate everyone's patience as we all adjust to that. So yeah, it's a Keynote doggy. I'll make sure to try to get that out of the recording. I don't know if Keynote has that feature. But so with that, just thank you, everyone. Again, thank you, Kasia, and enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully see you next week.
Yeah, hopefully come next week.